Hello class, this is Dr. Long. I hope this video finds you well. I'm filming it in order to give you some more insight and further instructions about several important assignments that are coming up in our class in the next few weeks. First, as you know, weeks 5 and 6 work is due this coming Sunday, September 29th in D2L. Make sure you have read the chapters that have been assigned, as well as the short primary documents, and I've already spelled all that out, and take the quizzes by then. Also, very importantly, you will have a discussion post due this Sunday as well. And this discussion post is about writing, because as I'll get to in a minute, you do have a first of 2 short essays due in a little while. So before I talk about the first short essay, though, next week, which will be week 7 in our class, you'll have 1 chapter to read and a quiz to deal with, or do for that, and then you'll focus on the short essay. Those are the 2 assignments due the following Sunday, on Sunday, October 6th. So, as I mentioned, one of those assignments due on Sunday, October 6th, is your first short essay. And so we will have discussion about it this week in the second discussion post. I hope you find that very useful in giving you insight and learn from your peers. Honestly, you can learn a lot from your peers about writing and a whole host of other things. But in a nutshell, I want you first to read the guideline for the short essay. There'll be 2 of these. The instructions are pretty much the same for both. The first is coming up. But the guidelines will give you a lot of the nitty-gritty instructions about how to write it, how to submit it, all of that. It'll also give you the questions that you'll have to write about, and you'll have a certain set of interlocking questions you need to write about. You have to answer all of them, and you'll choose 2. You'll see a selection. For short essay 1, there's question 1, question 2, same thing for short essay 2. Now, the short essays are 5 to 7 paragraphs each. You'll need an introduction in which you lay out the topic, give some brief introductory remarks, and have a thesis statement. And a thesis statement is an argument. You need to make an argument for these essay assignments. Then, in going through and proving your argument, so to speak, illustrating it, in the main body, you will go blow by blow and address the questions, giving specific examples. And the more specific you can be, the more detail you can give, the better your answers will be. Particularly examples that you can give to illustrate your points. And then finally, at the end of your short essay, you will have a conclusion, a paragraph in which you wrap things up and restate your thesis and sort of tie things up from beginning to end. Now, as you work on your short essays, and particularly as you finish them, don't forget to edit them. That includes reading them aloud. You can catch awkward phrases, awkward sentences, and thereby reword them. Don't forget to run them through spell check to catch any spelling errors and correct those, obviously. And the point of this is not to nitpick, but the clearer you can communicate, the better job you'll do. And if a reader, in this case me, reading your paper cannot understand what you're writing, obviously you're not communicating your point very well. And in this case, you'll lose points for that. So do take some time to proofread or to edit your paper before you turn it in. I guarantee your grade will be higher. And you'll have a better paper, quite frankly. Those 2 are obviously related. Now, that is just the basics of the first short essay. And again, the second short essay will be quite similar, at least in its basic requirements. Looking beyond the short essay, we are almost to the midterm point of the class in this semester. So beyond the short essay, beyond week 7, we will be up at our midterm exam point. Now, the midterm exam in this class, and this is all stated on the syllabus, you can look under the exam section, by the way, for details about it. The midterm exam will cover chapters 15 through 23 in your textbook. It will consist of 50 multiple choice questions. These will be very similar to the quiz questions you've experienced so far for the chapters. In fact, it's drawn from the same exact pool of questions that have been created for this, so you may even see a few repeats. The quizzes should kind of prepare you for that. So that, I think, will be helpful. But one major caveat to the midterm exam, again, 50 multiple choice questions, 2 points each, but one major caveat is that this is a timed exam. So once you will take it in D2L, and once you open it up, you will have an hour and 15 minutes, 75 minutes to complete it. So what that does mean is that you definitely need to study in advance of taking the midterm exam. If you just sort of waltz into it and think, oh, well, I'll look on my notes or I'll look this up as I go, that's not going to cut it, because you'll run out of time and you won't be able to answer all the questions. Frankly, you're going to do very poorly on the midterm exam. So don't do that. Do study for the midterm. I know it's in a couple of weeks. I'm trying to give you some awareness about this now so it doesn't sneak up on you, though. So to study for the midterm, I would encourage you to look back over all your materials for chapters 15 through 23. Any notes you've taken could be useful. You can go back and read the textbook. There are glossary words, or terms rather. If there are terms you're unfamiliar with, there's a glossary in D2L you can use. There isn't a study guide for the midterm and final exams. Nonetheless, there are tools in D2L that effectively can serve as a study guide. If you go in D2L under all the chapters, under the content material, you'll see a folder that's labeled Things to Consider. And in these folders, and again, there's a folder for every single chapter, so you can just go through there and basically have your own study guide. There are a whole series of questions in that folder. And if you can go through and answer those questions pretty well, chances are you know the material. If you can't, that tells you some things you need to go back and look at again. So please make use of those basically review questions, as it were, in the Things to Consider folder. Now, for the mechanics of the midterm exam will open on Monday, October 7th in D2L. It'll be open the entire week of week 8. So it'll be open from Monday, October 7th until Sunday, October 13th at 11:30 p.m. when D2L will shut it down. So make sure you study ahead of when you open it up and take it, because once you open it, the time clock will begin and you have an hour and 15 minutes. But you can schedule when you want to take it anytime within that week. You have a full week as a window to take it. You do take it on your own within D2L. You don't need Respondus lockdown or anything like that. You just open it up and take it and then submit it at the end. And that will be the only assignment you have for that week. I want you to really focus on that assignment. So with that in mind, part of the reason I'm trying to make you aware of all of these different deadlines is in case you have any extra time, it would be a good idea to work ahead. So for example, you could go ahead and start working on your short essay 1. You could go ahead and start studying for the midterm exam. And that will help take some of the stress off of these assignments. Well, I will give further reminders and instructions written via the announcements and email. So do look for those, and I'll certainly remind you about all these things. But I hope this video has given you some insights into these important assignments that are coming up in our class. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to let me know them. Well, I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you on the discussion coming up in the next couple of days. All right, well, take care.